You really messed up this time, Conor Benn, didn't you? You really messed up this time. Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. You gonna find a way to win or find a way to lose. Conor Benn, in my opinion, he found himself some big money, but big problems. Go get a big loss from a small man, Regis Prograis, when he puts the New Orleans bing-bings on him. He puts the Rougarou on him. He puts the Eddie Hearn special on him. It's over for Conor Benn. The pressure is building. The storm surrounding him might be the worst possible. Let me tell you something. There's nothing that could be worse for Conor Benn than him heading into a dangerous fight with Regis Prograis, a guy many people think are washed up, but even I know Regis Prograis isn't washed up. And he loses to Regis. You see, between ongoing tension with promoter Eddie Hearn, the shifting power dynamics created by Zuffa Boxing, and growing backlash from UK boxing fans, Conor Benn finds himself under more scrutiny than ever before. He thought he was going to just sit there and be covered by all the millions of dollars, but nah, he's covered by the eyes of the British public, who is saying Conor Benn's a sellout, they don't respect him, and they're rooting for Regis Prograis to put the Rougarou bing-bings on him. Speaking of Regis Prograis and the Rougarou, he appears to be coming into this moment motivated, angry, and determined to prove he's still one of the most dangerous fighters in the division. So is this the perfect storm that could derail Conor Benn? I'm not even going to make jokes, right? Because I'm going to make jokes, but I said I'm not because of how he performed against Eubank Jr. the first and second fight, and how Eubank Jr. performed in the first and second fight with Benn. Those guys fought magnificent fights that elevated each other. So just because I don't like the way, because I have a way about Conor Benn, the way he's moving, and I understand him taking the money, but I'm not going to make those jokes. I'm not. If y'all follow the channel, you know the kind of jokes I was going to make, but I'm not going to do that. But we're going to find out if Conor Benn's going to get derailed or if he's going to silence the critics once and for all. Now, understand, Conor Benn's fighting more than just an opponent here. For the first time in his career, Conor Benn is entering the fight surrounded by layers of outside pressure. Now, he had pressure in that when he first returned after all the drama and, I think it was clomiphene and the boiled egg bullshit. He had drama. But the bottom line is that's since subsided. But now, the pressures include promoter drama, public perception issues, fan backlash. And let me tell you something. You see that fan backlash? I think they're fighting in the UK on Tyson Fury's undercard. I don't know if Conor Benn's going to really have the support that he had in those Eubank Jr. fights. I don't think so. But the bottom line, we're going to see what happens with Conor Benn and that fan backlash, but also he's dealing with promotional power shifts in boxing. And let me tell you, all those things can affect a fighter mentally heading into a dangerous fight. You got to be able to have peace and focus. And I'm just not so sure Conor Benn has peace and focus. I think he's like, all right, cool, I got all this money coming to me, I'm happy. But let me tell you something. Money doesn't make you happy. It creates convenience. You could be driving in your Rolls Royce and be depressed. You could be eating gourmet meals and be depressed. You could be coming into your 10,000 square foot home and be depressed. Something can happen with your children, with everything, and you can't do anything about it. The money can't do anything about it. So money is cool to have. It creates convenience, but money it doesn't resolve all, my neck is sore, all problems. You know what I'm saying? Now understand this Eddie Hearn situation. And I'll be honest, where's Conor Benn mentally? Nobody's talking about that shit. I'm just telling you. I think Regis Prograis has a great opportunity here. But speaking of opportunities, Eddie Hearn, he had an opportunity to kick Conor Benn square in the nuts. He chose not to do it. You can see he's like a pressure cooker, and a little bit of pressure's coming out. He's saying a little bit here, a little bit there, but he hasn't come out and taken the weapon off safety and started firing at Conor Benn on full blast. He hasn't quite hit him with the goddamn okie doke yet. But Eddie Hearn was one of Benn's biggest supporters. Through the controversy that followed his canceled fight with Eubank Jr., Eddie Hearn's been right there, man, rolling with Conor Benn, covering his ass. Whether Eddie Hearn knew Conor Benn was cheating or not, Eddie Hearn said he going to just sit there and roll with the narrative that Conor Benn's innocent. And he has not detoured. No, he stuck to that. He's still going with that. But I think just watching Eddie Hearn's reaction, how he became emotional and teary-eyed and tongue hanging out of his mouth, wrapped across his head, dragging across his scalp with saliva hitting all four corners of the goddamn room. I said, maybe Hearn knew that Conor Benn was out there on the goddamn juice. It's just Eddie Hearn wants to say something, but he can't because it makes him look bad. Now remember, I don't know if Conor Benn was cheating or not. I just watched the way Eddie Hearn's reacting and how he's like, we had his back. We had his back. I had Conor Benn's back. And now you're feeling stupid because he got you by the balls, huh, Eddie? Hearn defended Benn publicly. The suspension controversy, media backlash, UK regulatory disputes, Hearn was right there, man. However, that relationship hasn't always looked smooth behind the scenes. Some boxing observers believe Benn's team sometimes moves independently of matchroom strategy. Hearn has to spend, he has to spend now, but he had to spend a lot of political capital defending Benn, and right now he's spending more just with the lawsuit and bullshit going on. It's just always something with these guys, you know what I'm saying? But that dynamic creates tension because promoters want fighters who protect the brand rather than create constant damage control. Now, as far as the UK fan backlash, so it had surfaced when Conor Benn tested positive for the drugs and the first Eubank Jr. fight got canceled. And Conor Benn came back. The UK fans still weren't fully supportive of him. Then he had the two fights with Eubank Jr. It seemed like the whole UK finally got behind Conor. And they were like, look, man, all's forgotten. We're just going to move forward. But then he comes back and pulls this shit on Eddie Hearn, and the UK fans are back with their backlash and looking at him crazy. And the British public, let me tell you, especially the boxing public, passionate and vocal. That's how I would describe them, you know what I'm saying? Even though Benn has returned to the ring, some UK fans still have mixed feelings about the suspension saga. Criticism includes distrust from certain fan segments, questions about credibility, frustration about the original canceled fight, and all of that has subsided, but now all that's come back. It's all surfaced again, it's resurfaced. You know what I'm saying? So now it's not just the distrust, the credibility questions, the frustration about the original canceled fight. It's about how he said he had played Eddie Hearn. You see what I'm saying? No loyalty to a man who jeopardized his reputation, his father's company's reputation, all for your ungrateful ass is how they see it. And you see it in boxing, fan perception matters heavily because ticket sales depend on fan loyalty, pay-per-view depends on fan investment, hometown support affects fighters' confidence. And a fighter entering the ring without full fan support can feel the difference. And I think Conor Benn is feeling that. 100%. 100%. Now, there are some fighters who support him because they're like, look, you got to do what's best for you. But it's the way he went about it. Didn't even have a conversation with Eddie, nothing. And I understand he wasn't signed to Eddie, but let's be real here. That's like you having a child that you raised. And although you're not the biological parent, you raised that child, put that child through college. The child goes on, next thing you know, they get married, and they don't want you at the wedding because you're not their dad or you're not their mom. They want they want someone else to come in and walk them down the aisle or be their best man. What you think about that? But anyway, come down Regis Prograis, the worst kind of opponent. The biggest danger for Benn might actually be the opponent. Regis Prograis is one of the most dangerous fighters a rising star can face. We know Regis he's looked good in his last couple of fights, but his chin looks questionable. You know what I'm saying? But he looked good, fast, strong. He keeps that right hand down too low. And in his last two fights, Jojo Diaz and Catterall, they would catch him because his hand's down too low. But Prograis brings several serious problems if he can keep that right hand up. Elite experience, power, toughness, motivation. He's fought high-level opponents throughout his career. He understands big fight pressure. He carries real knockout power in both hands. Both of these guys are like 5'7", 5'8", and both of them have like a 67, 68-inch reach. So as far as dimensions, they're the same. I mean, Conor Benn has a big donkey ball size head, but I mean, outside of that, they're the goddamn exact same as far as size. Now, toughness, as far as who's tougher, both of them are tough. But Regis Prograis has proven he can fight through adversity and remain dangerous late in the fights. And motivation after losing to Devin Haney. Regis has something to prove. After losing to Catterall, he has something to prove. He's a motivated veteran, and those guys are often the most dangerous, especially coming up to 150. Maybe he's not as fast. Maybe he's slower. Maybe he's stronger. Conor Benn's cutting all the way down from 160, where he weighed in on the night, a little bit more, but he's coming down to 150. Makes you wonder just what's going to happen with one coming up in weight and the other one coming down. And Conor Benn didn't even come all the way down to 147, which is disgusting since he said he was going to dominate the 147-pound division. And he's not even coming down to 147. So bottom line, the whole style is a goddamn nightmare. The whole style of fighting for both of these guys are nightmares. You know what I'm saying? Ben is aggressive. He's going to be on the front foot. If he's on the front foot, he'll have success. Come forward, throw combinations, overwhelm opponents with pressure. But that approach can play directly into Prograis' strengths. Prograis, he excels at counterpunching, timing aggressive opponents, landing heavy shots when fighters overcommit. If Ben becomes reckless, Prograis could capitalize. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think he's going to be. If Ben is successful on the front foot, he wins. But if he gets put on that back foot, Prograis capitalizes, Prograis wins. Prograis probably knocks him out. So that's what it is. I think it's a front foot, back foot type of fight. That sounds funny as shit, doesn't it? Anyway, the Zuffa factor. The boxing landscape is shifting with the arrival of Zuffa Boxing. The promotion tied to Dana White and Turkey a la Sheik. When Turkey's in the house, every day's Thanksgiving. Many promoters are watching closely because Zuffa's entry, let me tell you, that shit could disrupt existing power structures, which it's already doing that. Destabilizing boxing. Challenge traditional promoters, which it's already doing. Destabilizing boxing. Introduce UFC-style promotion into boxing, which is already happening. Destabilizing boxing, and the UFC fighters are saying, hold your horses, let's not take it to the stupid. We need some of that money you giving boxers. But the bottom line is when they're destabilizing boxing, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Shake it up, allow things to settle. It settles back probably better than it was before. But time will tell, right? But the bottom line is this creates pressure on existing promoters like Matchroom to deliver big fight, strong results, and big fight purses, which most of these promoters, they ain't in the business to lose money. If Ben loses during this transitional moment, I'm telling you it could weaken his market value at a time when boxing promotional landscape is changing. Ben must win, and there's no guarantee against Prograis. The mental pressure is what I think could affect Conor Benn. I listen to what the fighters say. I listen. They say the hardest battle happens outside the ring. Ben now has to deal with fan skepticism, promotional pressure, career expectations, and Regis Prograis is a very dangerous opponent as long as he keeps that damn right hand up. When those factors stack up, it becomes hard. It becomes hard to fight relaxed. It is hard, man, to be focused, composed. And let me tell you something. Boxing punishes hesitation. And hopefully Regis is firing on all cylinders and let them shots go. But I mean, it's going to be a storm either way it goes. But there's always the perfect storm. You put all the pieces together and you get a potentially dangerous situation, you know what I mean? A guy like Ben's a fighter under scrutiny. Prograis is a motivated veteran opponent. Then you got fan pressure, promotional politics. So that combination can create, a storm, but a perfect storm. So what would a win mean for Ben? I tell you what, if Ben wins, he can go back to, I'd probably stay at Zuffa. You know what I'm saying? But if he wins convincingly against a knockout, people will probably forget about a little bit about being disloyal to Eddie Hearn, and the narrative will change immediately. He could restore credibility with fans. He could silence critics. He could prove he belongs among the elite. Beating a fighter like Prograis would be a career-defining statement victory, especially at a time when most people are looking at being crazy, with the stink eye, the hairy eyeball, giving him cow eye, because they're like, this guy here, can't trust him. And once the public loses trust with a fighter, the fighter is fucked. Now, what a win would mean for Regis Prograis? For Prograis, the opportunity is huge. People are going to say he's back. Keep fighting. Probably he's making $5 million. He can probably go and make even more money if they decide to do a rematch. But he would definitely derail Benn's rise. He'd reestablish Prograis himself as a top contender and put him back in major title conversations. And veterans often use fight like this to restart their careers. So this is what it is. More money, more problems, or the restart of a career. That's what it boils down to. Anyway, y'all keep cool. I ain't gonna lie, man. I understand Conor Benn being the favorite, but if he can't be on that front foot and Prograis can put him on that back foot, I'm telling you, Prograis is gonna beat him. But Conor Benn should be the favorite. I'm not goddamn delusional. Keep cool. I'm in the breeze.